Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be embarking a little bit of a different style of video. I have noticed that my thresholds in cleaning have been maximized, and I want to go a little bit more into detail with that as the video progresses, but in today's video, we are starting a series where I start minimizing my home area by area or zone by zone in order for them to meet my thresholds once again. Before I dive in, I just want to thank everybody who has been subscribing, and you are new to my channel, welcome back. Anybody that's come on over from Instagram, I have a page called Home.Cleaningtips, and I show people how to declutter, clean, and manage the home while dealing with depression, anxiety, and or ADHD. So welcome guys, thank you so much for making it over to my video. I am so thrilled to start this series. It is one of the hardest challenges in my opinion as somebody with ADHD to take on like this minimalist approach, because it can be very confusing of where to start. And I have been doing endless research like this is some sort of home renovation project because it can be very daunting to somebody who doesn't quite have that executive motion that most people tend to have. So I'm gonna welcome you into my home, welcome you into what may be extremely chaotic but also very healing. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started. As a quick disclaimer, my page does focus on depression, anxiety, ADHD, and chronic illness. So some of the steps that I show people may be a little too simple or too, I've gotten some feedback before where it's like, this is very simple, this doesn't really make a difference for me. And it might be because of that, because my page does focus on anybody who's dealing with depression, anxiety, ADHD, or chronic illness. So there's a lot of tweaks that I like to take when it comes to managing, decluttering, and cleaning your home to ease that stress of going into it. So that is just a quick disclaimer. I still think that they're very beneficial to anybody who might not even be dealing with this. It's just I like to take the easier, more gentle approach when it comes to people who are dealing with that.
Okay, friends, so the first area that I'm going to be tackling this week is actually going to be the easiest of the entire project. And I typically always recommend somebody taking on the easiest part because it is an instant rewarding project that I don't have to feel so overwhelmed with that I may not want to continue the project. So I always recommend taking on the easiest part. It's just faster and it helps you kind of boost your mindset to keep going. And in my case, that is my room. Now, this area I am decluttering, organizing, and minimizing, but I'm also moving around because I need a space to work. And my home, as you're going to keep seeing throughout this series, is at its full capacity. So today I am going to be adding a work area here as I minimize and reorganize and repurpose some of my decor and my furniture to make this happen. So the reason for me to basically tackle on this minimizing project is because I like having what I call thresholds for cleaning. A lot of people may refer to them as just, how much do I want to maintain versus how much time do I really have to give my home to maintain it. And when I teach people to clean and manage their home, I always ask them, what is the threshold that you want to stick with? And some people say, I realistically only have 20 minutes at the end of the day to clean my home. Or some may say, I have an hour on the weekend to manage my home. So this is what we call your threshold. And that threshold should always be respected because the minute we keep introducing more to that threshold, we are now adding time or taking away from other activities in your home. And we can't have that because that also introduces stress and anxiety, and it can worsen your already mental health symptoms. And we're trying to avoid that. So I have reassessed my threshold and I noticed that I was actually spending more and more time in my home cleaning it and managing it as opposed to maybe enjoying my time with my husband and my children or being outside more. I felt like I was constantly having to be decluttering and organizing, and it really just hit me. My threshold has been surpassed, and it's really time to get back and minimize once again. It's important that I share that throughout your journey, you are going to have to minimize your threshold a couple of times. I often remind people that after the holidays, after birthdays, or special occasions, you're going to hit that threshold again because now you're introducing things, which is perfectly fine. Sometimes we introduce new things and it's time to say goodbye to other things. We don't always have like a set schedule for this. So, in my opinion, I just always let people know if your threshold has been met, it's probably time to do a decluttering or a minimizing and make home for the new items. I have also been teaching my kids this to learn what their threshold is. It's a little bit harder for them because they wish they could keep everything, right? But I always mention to them if we don't have a home for our toys, then we might not be able to get more in the future, like the holidays or birthdays. So remind yourself of what that threshold might be and try to stick to it as much as you can. Now, typically, I recommend that people always have some sort of a trash bag or a trash bin, a donation box, and a maybe bin. And those are the three things that I live by when I start decluttering. My trash bag is for the obvious reasons, trash. My donation bin is for anything that's still in good shape and could be reused by someone else. And my maybe bin is for items that I'm not 100% sure are ready to be donated because either I still use them, but maybe not as often, or because it might be something emotional to me. So I keep a small bin and I cannot overfill it. That bin has also a threshold. And what's important is that every 30 days I empty that bin. If I have not made the effort to find or use the item, find a home for it or use it, then it's time that I say goodbye to it. And this makes it so much easier for me to say goodbye to maybe overly emotionally attached items or things that I might think, but what if I need it? So, a maybe bin might be something that might help you at home or your kids at home or your partner to be able to get rid of some of those things at home. If you're dealing with depression, anxiety, ADHD, or a chronic illness, it's important to also set boundaries when it comes to decluttering. And that may mean that you only declutter for 10 minutes, that you only tackle on a few tasks for, 10, 15 minutes, and then you move on. So when you're decluttering, try your best not to bring everything out all at once. I know that's a very popular tip to give when someone's showing someone to declutter, to just bring it all out so they can see the canvas and imagine how things are. It doesn't really quite apply to us because we take everything out, we're left with a huge mess and not the energy to put everything back. So only set a timer and only tackle what you can without having to bring everything out. Another very gentle way of decluttering that I found to be successful among the people that I show how to declutter is by grabbing a box or a hamper or a basket and going around your house for 15 minutes, just grabbing things that are ready to go. This is actually one of the most fun ways of approaching it, and a lot of followers of mine have always told me how easy and how fun this was, that some of them even made games with their children of how fast we can fill the donation bin. They would play music, they would do timers, they would see who would quickly fill up the bin. And I have to say, I am so incredibly glad that this has helped so many of you. And if this is a lot less daunting to you than it might be to go through every single room, then I definitely recommend this method to you. I like to grab a hamper and I set a timer. I put my favorite podcast or audiobook on and I just go berserk in my house. I start just grabbing things left and right. I, of course, have a method. I have things probably already in mind that could go, and I always make sure that all of these items could still be used by someone else. If it's a broken item, torn, missing pieces, that is an absolute trash. No questions asked, it is no longer good. So, I hope you can try this method and see if it can help you out. All right, friends, this was a bit of a short video, but this is the beginning of a series, and I'm so excited to show you guys. This is the end result. I'm extremely happy with it. I feel like I accomplished a lot. And while it might not seem like a huge declutter, this is what we have to do if we're dealing with depression, anxiety, chronic illness, or ADHD. Baby steps are big steps. So if you feel like this is the way for you, I hope it can help you. Let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.